Just like Meghan Markle and Harry are always getting pictures taken of them, and they're driving themselves nuts. Well, apparently, everybody, this is for GR out there. Some more Harry and Meghan news for you, GR. So Harry and Meghan were apparently in a huge chase last night by the paparazzi. So much so it gave him like some flashback to when he was youth, and he's worried about like his health, his livelihood, his wife. It was his wife, him, and his mother-in-law in the car. Apparently, the paparazzi chased him for 2 hours. Apparently, going on sidewalks, running red lights, just trying to get pictures. They're saying they had they said involved half a dozen blacked out vehicles chasing them. And this was after an award ceremony. Okay, so they went to an award ceremony apparently where Meghan Markle was given an award. And the award was, here goes Sabrina, she received a Woman of Vision Award. That's what she got last night, a Woman of Vision Award. And then as she was leaving, so excited coming off this ceremony in New York City, the paparazzi charged the cars. They got in their car and they're chasing around the streets. Multiple near collisions. 2 police officers were involved with this. Almost ran over some bad pedestrians. And they said that they were worried about their livelihood and they thought they were going to die and end up in the hospital. But they didn't end up in the hospital. They got away. They were fine. Everything was okay. It makes me wonder if they're just kind of blowing it out of proportion for, I don't know, maybe for some media news, maybe a little relevancy again in their lives. Maybe. That's the question I throw at you. We talked about this last night about how celebrities do this. They'll stage publicity things in order to get paparazzi to chase them, to put themselves back in the news. Yeah, it's something that can happen. So let's go to Sabrina first. Sabrina, what do you think? Do you think that this was maybe it was intended to be a paparazzi stunt, something for publicity, or do you think that they really were being scared out of their minds, being chased by these paparazzi? And this was something that was, they feared their life for.
Okay. So first of all, I did joke that maybe they staged it, but I don't think that they did stage it. However, I did a nice deep dive today whilst at work. Don't tell my boss. So that I could be clear upon it, because I was listening to the news on my way in when I was driving, and they kept stressing every 2 minutes that this is their story, their version of events. So this is what their team came out and said to the media. Okay, so it's not official at all. It's just what Meghan and Harry's team is telling us, right? So on my heavy deep dive Google situation, the NYPD made a statement, and they said on Tuesday evening, May 16th, the NYPD assisted the private security team protecting the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. There were a number of photographers that made their transport challenging. The Duke and Duchess arrived at their destination, and there was no reported collisions, summonses, injuries, or arrests in regard. So NYPD doesn't seem like it's too big of a deal, right? Then the New York City mayor goes on to say, like, he said something about Princess Diana and how everyone knows how she passed and that people need to be responsible. And then he said, clearly expressing skepticism of the fact that this went on for 2 hours, he said, I find it extremely hard to believe that there was a 2-hour high-speed chase. We have a lot of traffic, a lot
2
of
hours,
movement,
they said.
and there's a lot of people on the streets of Manhattan, and even a chase just as long as 10 minutes would be extremely dangerous. There's no way you get out unscathed, in a 2-hour chase around Manhattan. Like, let's not be ridiculous. So the mayor definitely does not buy that story. Then the royals, like Buckingham Palace, said, we have zero comment on this issue because we no longer comment on matters related to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex because they stepped back from their royal duties.
Of sucking.
So obviously they don't think it's a big deal. And last but not least, the paper outlet that the photographers submitted their photos to also made a statement for the photographers, and they said that they were covering the couple's stay in New York City, including a possible dinner after the ceremony. They had no intention of causing any distress or harm, and the few photos even show Meghan Markle smiling in the cab. One of the 4 SUVs from Prince Harry's security escort was driving in a manner that could be perceived as reckless. The vehicle was seen blocking off streets in the video, and it is also shown being pulled over by police. According to the photographer's president, there were no collisions, no near collisions, no crashes, no near crashes during this incident, and they reported feeling that the couple was not in any immediate danger at that point. So I think that they just really blew up and made a huge deal out of a very small thing because they knew that it would get them in the media, it would get them attention, especially with obviously what happened with Princess Diana in 1997. And I think they just really made it seem like it was something that it wasn't.
That's kind of what it seems like. I mean, honestly, I heard that too. 2 hours, and I'm like, how do you have a car chase for 2 hours? Well, they were running traffic lights. They were riding on sidewalks,
Well,
and they were.
run a lot of
anyone
traffic
who's ever
lights in 2
anyone who has
hours.
ever driven in Manhattan knows that this is bullshit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If
But
you've
how
ever
long did
driven a car
OJ's
in
case last?
Manhattan,
On the
that was in
405.
California.
And
They
if
were
you
on a
live here,
freeway.
how the fuck did that
I'm
happen
saying-
on the
Hold on.
405? That's
I'm
all I
just
can say.
You put a lot of facts out there about timeline. We're not bringing up the OJ of this all. That's all I'm saying.
I'm
Could've
still
happened.
shocked by
No,
OJ.
everything
Get in
I
there,
need
Sean.
to
What do
know,
you think about this?
everything I need to know about Harry and Meghan, I learned from the South Park episode that dealt with them.
Such a good
it's-
episode.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
very
no,
much.
well,
If you have,
man.
yeah. It's a bunch of nothing. Big surprise, it was nothing, and and yet there's something.
We want
because
our
we're talking
privacy.
about it. Exactly. No, I couldn't care less about this, and congratulations, we fell into the trap that they've laid.
They got us.
Yeah, they
I
got
say
us.
the same thing, Sean,
I
except
feel like
I say the congratulations sincerely. I say, good work, guys. You played the public.
You got us.
We deserve it.
So, Mike, you think the
take
same
your
thing
bag.
too? Mike, you think this is publicity? You think they just got us? You think that's what this is? Or do you think that it was really, they were scared for their lives?
Do you have to run? Like, what's a chase? Do you have to run from a person with a camera?
Exactly.
It's not a gun. Like, also, tinted windows exist, and I can bet you that on all of those SUVs, every one of their windows is tinted. Like, you can't even see inside. Maybe you can. I don't know. I'm not an optics expert. I'm not claiming to be an optics
Well,
expert.
apparently some of those pictures have her smiling, so I don't really
Yeah.
think it was that big of a deal.
Yeah. Okay. So here I'm gonna. Usually Sabrina and I have slightly different takes on this because I say, if you can play him like a fiddle and you can get your bag, like, how is it not going to happen like that? Someone is going to do it if it's not Meghan Markle and homie G, which is what
Homie
I
G.
like to call him. It's going to be somebody else taking advantage because that niche exists in the ecosystem, right? However, in this case, if you're using like your mother's highly publicized death as a means of it, like that's a little
Weird.
bit
Pretty
that's a little
fucked up.
tasteless.
Tasteless.
So here's a question to everybody, but Sabrina in general. So is this just a method of keeping them trending in the public eye, or is there a more direct way that this is leading to them getting some Skrilla, that they're clearly, that their whole issue is like
Trending.
very
It's got to be trending, Mike. Trending, but also trying to get money. I mean, you also want to get publicity, so maybe they have something new coming out. There must be a new book, or
that's so they more
New
for
book
a new
or
book
another Oprah
appearances,
interview?
like
Yeah.
Just keeping them relevant. It just keeps them relevant because people are
Mhm.
talking about them. It keeps them in the news. It keeps them in the public eye. It keeps them relevant.
We're gonna get fatigue here though soon
We
enough.
already
Like,
have it.
They better have they better
We
be
already have
dropping
it.
something big. If they're not getting any money directly from this crazy bullshit situation, they better
I'm
be
sure they
dropping
will.
something huge.
I'm sure
Yeah.
there'll be a huge interview that they'll be like, "Oh my God, were you afraid for? Oh my God, I thought we were gonna die. There was a paparazzi on a bicycle that was going so
Oh
fast
my
on the
God,
sidewalk."
I'm so bad.
Like, bring it in, lady. And like
Yeah, but
exactly like you said, like it's a camera. Like just
It's a
stop
camera.
it. Like you could just stop the car and sit there with the windows rolled up, the tinted windows, and just wait.
Right.
Like they'll get bored eventually
guys.
and leave.
Hey guys,
Yeah.
my mom died like this. I don't really want to play this game. Can we just
Yeah,
not?
this is
And
probably
they said
not
they
cool.
were driving on like has anyone been to Manhattan? There's no driving on the sidewalk. You would mow
it
down
begs
30
belief
people.
completely. It's
Literally
totally
30
absurd.
people.
Totally
It's
absurd.
ridiculous.
Yeah, doesn't
It
pass
really
the
was
sniff test.
ridiculous. No.
Yeah,
Not at all.
I mean, that's why it doesn't make sense. Ty in the chat too was saying 2 hours. Come on,
It's a lot, yeah.
it doesn't make any sense to me. It does feel like he came back from his father's ceremony, and then she's like, "I'm not in the news at all. So I'd be in the news somehow. Let's stage something." To me, it kind of seems like that.
Blame it on
I'm
the
not
woman,
blaming on the
Brian.
woman.
Yeah.
I'm
How
just
brave
saying
of you, Brian.
Claps for
How
Sabrina.
fucking brave.
it was all Harry, Harry
Yeah,
asshole.
She is definitely she is definitely the she's the catalyst in that relationship, honestly.
I mean, we talked about this last night, how Kim Kardashian does this, though, where she has paparazzi. She pays somebody that brings paparazzi out, creates stories, and it creates buzz when they have a new show coming out to help out the Kardashians and shit like that. So that's all I'm saying. It seemed to me like that's kind of what the story is. When I first saw it, I'm like, did they get hurt? I thought like maybe a car accident happened, you know? And you start reading, you're like,
based on the headlines.
Headlines.
Like, I think it's like
The headlines
actually
are really
happened.
yeah.
Yeah.
Near catastrophe.
Near catastrophic. Like, fuck off.
That's the biggest
please.
non-headline you could have. Near
Yeah,
something
ridiculous.
almost happened.